Hey friends, welcome back. It's been a minute since we posted on the channel, but we've been busy building a lot of stuff on the education side. And today I wanted to talk about this term that I keep hearing, and it's so annoying, and it's success comes to those who hustle. So here's why I hate that term, because it doesn't matter if you work longer, and it doesn't matter if you work harder. If you don't have a strategy for what to work on, then none of it's gonna work, right? Because how many people do you know that work their ass off in their job and it's just like taking everything from them, and they work so hard and they're still stuck at a certain income level? So it's not about working harder. And then how many people do you know that like work way too many hours in their photography business, and it seems like they're working all hours of the night and doing all the things, and that's still not translating to success? So when people say, oh, just hustle harder, like, oh girl, you gotta hustle, I'm like, so annoying, because that's not true. So today I wanted to talk about that because this is a quote that I used to idolize. I used to think in the first couple of years of my career, if I just hustled harder, if I just put more time in, if I just worked harder, then I would see success. And so I was doing that. I was doing that with 2 kids at home, a brand new baby, and I was spending all of my free time hustling and social mediaing and trying to reverse engineer things, other people's apparent success. And my bank account just wasn't showing it. It wasn't showing what it should have for the amount of hours that I was putting into this, right? So it wasn't until, so this was like when I was still shooting budget weddings, and I was just like basically after taxes and after paying the second shooter to go to the wedding and after paying myself for my hours, I was basically making like nothing. Like I was making like less than minimum wage. And I still thought it was fine because I was getting something for this service that I had built, and I felt like it was from nothing. But the problem was it was taking all my free time, and it really didn't change, or my mindset about this didn't change until I remember specifically one day I was sitting on my laptop and my oldest daughter came and asked me to play. And this wasn't like any other day. She had done this prior days as well. But it was just her voice. And it was specifically, people always say they remember that pivotal moment in something that completely changes who they are as a person or as a business owner or whatever. That was definitely my moment, because it was like I sat back and like looked at the situation for what it was. And what it really was I was prioritizing my business over the things that I loved. And it's not to say that I didn't love my business, but I love my family more and I love my faith more. And those things were being pushed to the side for much longer than a temporary amount of time. Because a lot of coaches out there will say there's this stage when you start your business where you're gonna have to put in more work and time. And that is true. But what I've noticed is that doesn't ever stop. That stage that doesn't ever stop for photographers. I don't know why. And lots of just entrepreneurs in general. And so I find that you either need a mentor to be like, this is not the way that it needs to be for you, or you just need to have that like come to Jesus moment, basically, where you're just like, oh wow, like what am I doing, and is this the path I want to continue to go on? So with that being said, I know that there's a lot of women that I coach inside our community that feel the same way when they start working with me. They are looking for more balance. They don't want to hustle. They want a sustainable photography business. So I wanted to give you 3 things that I did for myself so that I built an anti-hustle, sustainable luxury photography business. So the first thing that I did was I really sat down and I just created a vision. Before I did anything else, before I went out and tried to market and tried to be luxury and all these things, I created a vision for what I actually want. So it was like, Liz, what do you want? Do you want to be a $20,000 photographer? Do you want to be a $10,000 photographer? Do you want to just be a $5,000, $3,000? What do you want to be? Why do you want to be that? What does that mean to you? So if I was to say in 5 years, what does your life look like outside of your business? How does what you charge and what your business is promote the lifestyle that you want outside of your business? And then I really worked backward from there. But if I didn't do that, then I would have continued at the hustle pace of just thinking, oh, I just need one more booking. I just need one more this. I just need to work harder. That was really what set me on the path to being like, okay, I want to become a photographer who can charge up to $10,000 photographer. I would say 7 to 10 is my sweet spot. And I want to do this because I only want to shoot 10 weddings a year because I want to work with clients who really appreciate me, what I do. I can actually serve them because I'm not overwhelmed, and I can show up as the mother that I want to be for my kids, and the wife that I want to be for my husband. So that's the first thing, sitting down and just mapping out what that vision is for your life, before you map out what that vision is for your business, and making sure that you work backward from that, because the end goal never is like, for pretty much everybody I know, but for me especially, it was never like, oh, I just want to make a shit ton of money. That's not what it was. It was, I want to make money so that I can have freedom to do what I want with who I want when I want. So it was all about the freedom, and the avenue to get me there was just the financial aspect of it. So I set the number of hours. The second thing is I set the number of hours that I was willing to put into that. So I said, okay, if my vision says that as a mother, that looks like this to me, and I identified what that looked like, what are the hours that she's showing up? What does her days look like? And what are the hours that she's not showing up, right? And so for me, I landed on 12 hours. I said, I can stomach and dedicate 12 hours of my week to be all in my photography business, and to really get down to the 20% of the things that really pushed the needle forward. Because what that does when you limit the time that you're giving yourself to work on your business is, not only does it give you all of that time back for the other things that you love outside your business, but it also forces you to identify the things that really work, and then just throw everything else on the cutting room floor that are like meh and not really working for your business. Because another thing that I found is I was working on a lot of busy work, a lot of editing, re-editing, a lot of obsessing over galleries, a lot of obsessing over other people's social media accounts that I had no business doing. But it wasn't until I set myself a dedicated work hour and said, I will not go over this because of my vision I created, that's when everything started to click into place. I just didn't have the time to waste to do things that didn't work, essentially. And then the last thing, and the third thing, is I really built with intention. So after my vision and after identifying what the work hours were going to be, I realized really quickly, okay, if I'm going to dedicate, 12 hours a week, that is a pretty minimal amount of time. I'm okay with that, but I just then need to figure out how to use the marketing avenues that I'm using, AKA Instagram, AKA referrals, networking, to fit within that time frame. And I knew that the fastest way to get there would be through mentorship and programs. But I had spent so much money on programs before that were like mini programs and, mini this and mini that, because I was just being cheap and just wanting to find like the whole framework to how to run a business in like a $97 program, which I know sounds crazy now, but I was broke. And so being intentional looked like first going, okay, well, I have 12 hours a week, so I'm going to take that time. I'm going to find the best program that's a good fit for me. And then I'm going to take that program. I'm going to soak it into my blood. I'm going to take everything from it, and I'm going to just bust my ass those 12 hours a week. And so seeking mentorship, being intentional with that mentorship, and just not purchasing something and then not actually doing the work, is so helpful. And then when I did the work, it was the intentionality of how I set up my business, how I set up my client experience to attract the right people, how I set up my sales process, and how I continued to tweak it when it wasn't working the way I wanted it to work. It was all through intentionality that I was able to build a business that is work less, make more, anti-hustle. So to wrap this up, very long-winded, I am extremely anti-hustle. Sorry, my phone's dying. Just because I know there's a better way, you know what I mean? And anti-hustle doesn't mean you don't work hard. You do work hard. You should work hard at everything you do. You should give your all in the allotted amount of time. It just means that I'm anti just like work with no strategy, no intention, no vision, no reason kind of behind what you're doing, and why I'm always going to be a champion of building a photography business that allows you to charge more and work less. All right, so that is my rant for today. Thank you guys for hanging out. We have some resources available for you guys if you wanted to go deeper and learn a little bit more. We have a free masterclass, which is the 4-step method to getting booked out with luxury clients. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave that link below. Or if you're watching this via another social media app, feel free to just send us a DM and we can send you the link as well. All right, guys, bye.